Klay Thompson is heading to Miami, and this could be one of the most interesting moves of the entire NBA offseason. The four-time NBA champion and five-time All-Star is joining the Heat after Dallas bought out his contract. But here's the real question. Is Miami getting the Klay Thompson we remember from Golden State, or a completely different version of the superstar shooter? There are some NBA moves that make you say, "Interesting." And then there are moves that immediately make you imagine the lineup. Klay Thompson to Miami is definitely the second one. After spending last season with Dallas, Thompson is now joining the Miami Heat on a reported two-year contract worth roughly $11.5 million. And suddenly, Miami has added something every contender wants: elite shooting experience. But this isn't just about three-point shooting. It's about what Klay Thompson can bring to a Miami team that is trying to make another serious playoff push. Let's start with the obvious question. Why Miami? Klay is 36 years old. He's already won 4 championships. He's already made hundreds of millions of dollars throughout his career. At this stage, it's not simply about getting the biggest contract. It's about finding the right basketball situation. And Miami gives him something extremely valuable: a chance to compete. The Heat are trying to build a roster capable of making noise in the Eastern Conference. And Klay's experience could be extremely valuable. Let's not forget who Klay Thompson is. He's one of the greatest three-point shooters in NBA history. He's fourth all-time in made three-pointers, with 2,899 career threes, according to Reuters. That's an incredible number. And even last season, while playing for Dallas, Thompson shot 38.3% from three-point range. His scoring dropped to 11.7 points per game, but the shooting threat remained. And that's exactly why Miami is interested. Klay doesn't need to have the ball for 10 seconds. He doesn't need to dominate possessions. He can simply move, cut, relocate, set screens, and wait for the defense to make one mistake. Then, boom, 3 points. Miami basketball has always valued players who understand movement, discipline, and spacing. Klay fits that philosophy. Imagine a Heat possession. The ball is on one side. Klay is moving around a screen. The defender gets caught for half a second. That's enough. Because when you leave Klay open, you're taking a huge risk. And this could create more space for Miami's other offensive weapons. Defenses can't simply pack the paint. They have to respect the perimeter. That matters. And here's where this gets really interesting. Miami also acquired Giannis Antetokounmpo earlier this offseason. Now put Giannis and Klay together. Think about the possibilities. Giannis attacks the basket. The defense collapses. And suddenly, Klay is standing behind the three-point line. One pass. One shot. 3 points. That's the kind of offensive combination that can become extremely difficult to defend. And unlike some players, Klay doesn't need to be the primary creator. He can thrive without dominating the ball. This is something people sometimes forget. Klay isn't just a shooter. He's a player who has spent years playing championship basketball. He knows what playoff pressure feels like. He knows what it means to play in Game 6. He knows how teams adjust during a 7-game series. And he's played alongside some of the greatest players of his generation. That experience matters, especially for a team trying to compete at the highest level. Now let's be realistic. Miami isn't getting 2016 Klay. They're getting 2026 Klay. That's important. Last season with Dallas, he averaged just 11.7 points per game. That's a huge difference from the player who once scored 60 points in just 29 minutes. And Klay has gone through significant injuries during his career. So expecting the old version of him to suddenly appear in Miami would be unrealistic. The Heat don't need that. They need something else. Miami needs Klay to become a specialist. Elite shooting, smart movement, veteran defense, leadership, spacing, and big shots when the game gets tight. If Klay can give Miami that, this contract could become one of the smartest veteran moves of the offseason. Because Miami isn't paying him to be their number one option. They're paying him to make everybody else better. This move could completely change Miami's offensive spacing. Think about it. If Giannis is attacking the paint, teams can't leave him alone. If Klay is on the perimeter, teams can't leave him alone either. That creates a problem. You have to choose. Help on Giannis. Klay gets an open shot. Stay attached to Klay. Giannis gets more room. And that's the beauty of adding a shooter next to a dominant interior player. But here's the problem. Having talented players doesn't automatically create a championship team. Miami has to stay healthy. Klay has to remain productive. Giannis has to lead. And the rest of the roster has to provide enough defense and depth. The Eastern Conference won't be easy. There are multiple teams capable of making a deep playoff run. So Klay's arrival doesn't guarantee anything. But it does give Miami another weapon. And sometimes one weapon can completely change a playoff series. Now let's look at Dallas. Klay's time with the Mavericks didn't go exactly as many expected. The team bought out the final year of his contract, allowing him to become a free agent. Miami then stepped in. For Dallas, this means moving forward without the veteran shooter. And honestly, it may be better for both sides. Klay gets a fresh start. Dallas gets more flexibility. And Miami gets an experienced shooter. Sometimes a separation isn't necessarily a failure. Sometimes it's simply time for a player and team to go in different directions. But there's something else I love about this story. Klay now has another opportunity to change the narrative. His career has already gone through massive highs and lows. Championships, injuries, comebacks, a move to Dallas. And now, Miami. He's no longer the second option next to Stephen Curry. He's no longer trying to recreate the Warriors dynasty. He's entering a new chapter. And that's exciting. Here's my prediction. I don't expect Klay Thompson to suddenly average 25 points per game. That's not the point. Instead, I expect Miami to use him as a high-level shooting specialist and veteran leader. And if he can shoot efficiently while staying healthy, Miami could become extremely dangerous in the postseason. Because playoff basketball often comes down to spacing. One open shot. One possession. One defensive mistake. And Klay Thompson has spent his entire career making teams pay for those mistakes. So now we have to ask, did Miami just get the perfect veteran piece? Is Klay Thompson simply no longer the player he used to be? That's what we're going to find out. Because Miami doesn't need the old Klay. They need a smart, experienced, dangerous version of Klay. And if they get that, the Eastern Conference has another problem. Klay Thompson is officially entering a new chapter in Miami. 4 championships. 5 All-Star selections. Nearly 2,900 career three-pointers. And now, the Miami Heat. Can Klay help Miami win another championship? Yes or no? Drop your prediction in the comments. And for daily NBA news, trades, rumors, and analysis, subscribe to NBA Blitz.